Am I the only one who misses this? What happened to the epic hand-drawn action scenes? Or the amazing escape scene of the princess in The Tale of Princess Kaguya? Or the eye-catching, emotionally rich quality of early Disney films like The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, or Bambi?
She's not coming.
Why don't we see these styles on the big screen anymore? Let's take a deep dive into the history of animation and why it has changed so much. Let's go back. No, not that far back. Well, let's start with the first big animation studio whose name we all know too well, Walt Disney. He understood that animation wasn't just a novelty. It could be art. It could be business. Throughout the mid-20th century, Disney Studios created global hits that defined generations. Their success inspired countless kids to dream of becoming animators themselves. One of those kids was John Lasseter. Lasseter made 2 award-winning short animations while studying at CalArts, and finally, in the April of 1980, he landed a job at Disney. But just 3 years later, he was let go. Why? Because Lasseter had a vision that clashed with Disney's traditional methods. He believed in a wild new idea: computer-generated animation. After leaving Disney, he teamed up with his former classmate Ed Catmull, a brilliant computer scientist working on CGI effects for films like Star Wars. They were doing groundbreaking work, but lacked the funding to go further. Jobs was blown away by their potential. He invested, giving them time and freedom to build not just stories, but also the technology to tell them. That group, led by Lasseter, Catmull, and Jobs, would go on to create Pixar. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, 3 men, Hayao Miyazaki, Isao Takahata, and Toshio Suzuki, were dreaming of their own studio. Japan had already made a name for itself in television anime, but Miyazaki felt trapped by commercial constraints. He wanted complete creative freedom. In 1985, they founded Studio Ghibli, and with their first film, they became a household name overnight. A little movie called Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Over the next decade, Ghibli released hand-drawn masterpieces, each one pushing the boundaries of artistry and emotion. Back in the US, Disney was starting to feel the pressure. The company had been clinging to its traditions, reluctant to embrace change. But after seeing Pixar's early tests, they began to realize the future might not be hand-drawn. At this point, animation softwares didn't really exist. Tools like Blender or Maya wouldn't be released for years. So Pixar had to build everything themselves. And as a result of that, for 5 years they operated at a loss of $1 million a year. But Jobs believed in the long game. And in 1995, the gamble paid off. Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first fully computer-generated feature film, and a massive box office success. It was a turning point. Pixar went on to produce one hit after another: A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. But this breakthrough came at a cost. As CG became the new industry standard, hand-drawn animation started to disappear from theaters. Studio Ghibli remained the only major player still dedicated to 2D animation on the big screen.
あなたドット作りますって言って、
それおっしゃいましたよ。
覚えてないんだよね俺。95までって言わなかったっけ。
95までとかは言わない。
鈴木さんが横でブツブツ95までって覚えて言ってたんだけど。いやもうこの話だから。帰ります。
So, why do great companies lose their magic? Why does success seem to have an expiration date? Why does it feel like we're being sold products instead of shown stories? Well, I think Steve Jobs really explains it well in his Lost interview documentary.
If you were a product person at IBM or Xerox, so you make a better copy or a better computer. So what? When you have a monopoly market share, the company's not any more successful. So the people that can make the company more successful are sales and marketing people. And they end up running the companies. And the product people get driven out of the decision-making forums. And the companies forget what it means to make great products. Sort of the product sensibility and the product genius that brought them to that monopolistic position gets rotted out by people running these companies who have no conception of a good product versus a bad product. They have no conception of the craftsmanship that's required to take a good idea and turn it into a good product. And they really have no feeling in their hearts, usually, about wanting to really help the customers.
As always, thank you so much for watching. This was Between Spaces, and I'll see you in the next one.